No, I don't think it's morbid. I think it's practical. Okay, maybe a little morbid, but practically morbid. Right? Right? Hi guys, it's Megan. Welcome back to my channel. I am here with my friends Baloo, who's still taking the pandemic seriously, as you can see, and No Name. Please comment down below what his name should be, for he does not have one. And today I thought we'd plan my funeral. I'm not dying. I'm 24. At least I hope I'm not dying. But that's fun. This is tempting fate. Anyway, I thought we'd plan my funeral today. Not in depth, just in general. So for anyone who doesn't know, I'm an archaeologist and an osteologist, and I think a byproduct of that is you think about death a lot. And why wouldn't you want to? Death is fun. I mean, it's not fun, but it's a fun thought process. Maybe, I don't know. Bad phrasing. You know what I mean? I think about death a lot, especially over the last year, having worked with a lot of dead people. I think a lot about, what those people would have wanted for their bodies after they were gone. Do they want to be kept in a bone store in a university being poked and prodded by students all the time? Maybe not, but I'm grateful that they're there because I got my education out of them, so thank you. But I just think about death a lot. And I think for something that is inevitable, that all people will experience, you'll experience someone else's death, and at some point you will experience your own death in your life. We don't really talk about it a lot. I mean, it's the one thing I would think is completely universal. Everyone will experience death at some point in their lives, be it someone else's or their own, and yet we don't talk about it a lot. At least in Western societies, we don't talk about it a lot. I'm fully aware that there are very other people, other places, other cultures that are much more accepting, much more open about death. I find that interesting and I want to talk to those people. But yeah, I think about death, and over this last year I've been thinking about it a lot more. I started watching Ask a Mortician on the recommendation of a friend. I'll leave a link to her YouTube channel down below. But her and The Order of the Good Death, they talk about death, they talk about, people being more knowledgeable about death and about what happens to you, and being more open and giving people the tools to be more consenting about what happens to them after they die, having more agency in that, which I think is very important. And also her videos are just funny and hilarious anyway. But she talks about having a death plan, like what you want to happen to you after you die, which I think is an important thing to have, no matter how old you are or how close to death you are or are not. I've also had the opportunity to talk to people from different countries, and I've realized that what you're allowed to do, what funeral or burial or cremation processes you're allowed to do, is dependent on what country you live in. They're different in Ireland from America, in America to Germany. It's dependent on where you live and stuff as to what you can legally do with your body, which is interesting. But yeah, I was just interested in looking into all of that stuff, and I never really, I always knew that the traditional burial thing wasn't really for me. I like cemeteries. I like headstones. There's a cemetery in Bradford, Undercliff Cemetery, which has some amazing headstones. I think a lot of them are from the Victorian era. They're really cool. It was a fun field trip. We went there once. So stuff like that, they're interesting, they're nice to look at. For other people, if that's what you want, that's great. But for me, I always kind of thought it's a waste of space. I don't want to be taking up a plot that's, however big for forever, So I always kind of was interested in just doing something else. I didn't want my death to be a waste of space, you know, just kind of something that happened and now you're in the ground and that's it. And cremation, I don't know why, I was just never really fond of that. But when I started learning about eco burials and stuff like that, I was like, yes, that. Make me fertilizer. Let me be plant mama in death as well as life. But I was like, that is what I want. I want my death to be useful in some way. And if I can decompose naturally and, you know, help give back to the planet a bit, while also not taking away from the planet with taking up land space and non-eco-friendly caskets and, you know, all of that stuff, then that's great. That is what I want, but is what I want legal in my country was the big question. So I started looking into it a while ago, and as I was looking into it, I just thought that it would be a fun video. I don't know why I thought it would be a fun video. Maybe no one is interested in this. Maybe people are calling psych services to come to my house right now because they are concerned about my mental well-being. But I thought it would be a fun video, so here we are. We're gonna plan my funeral. Not in depth, just overview of my funeral and what is legal in Ireland. Because at 24 years of age, I want to be buried in Ireland. Maybe at 54 years of age, I won't. Maybe I'll be living in another country, and I can do this whole process again there. But I thought it'd be an interesting video, and for anyone who is interested in figuring out what is legal in your country, if what you want is legal in your country, what options there are in your country so you can figure out what you do want, if you don't know what you want, stuff like that. Just thought it'd be interesting. So, grab my headphones, grab my laptop, and we'll plan my funeral, because it's fun. Hello, welcome to Coffin Cam. This took a ridiculous amount of time to figure out how to do, so please appreciate Coffin Cam. Also, not really a great shape for a webcam filter, but we're living with it. So yes, welcome. If you can hear this noise in the background, I apologize, that's my mouse. I have to have my laptop halfway across the room in order to get this amount of distance between me and the camera. So I'm using a detachable mouse pad, clicky clicky. So I'm sorry if you can hear that. But yeah, so first of all, I thought I'd start off with figuring out what is legal in my country for my death. So citizen information, which is a information page for citizens of Ireland. I'm sure your country probably has something like this. They have a page on when someone dies, what to do. Most of this is boring legal stuff like register your death, which doesn't apply to me because I'm dead. Upside to being dead, guys. I don't have to register my death. So I will scroll down first to funeral arrangements and costs and just sort of read through this. Basically, the only bits that are of importance to me is that an undertaker or funeral director can deal with most aspects of the funeral. That makes sense. If you're planning a funeral, there's a list of funeral directors that are with the Irish Association for Funeral Directors, and there's a code of conduct that sort of explains what to expect from a funeral director. So if you're planning a funeral, that's probably important to read, just so that you know what you should expect, what quality you should be getting, and you know, just to understand how upfront and stuff people should be. That should be something to read. And then also, if you're getting a funeral director from the association, presumably they're following their own code of practice. But anyway, that doesn't apply to me because again, I'm dead. So the part that applies to me is the person may have left instructions in their will about the type of funeral they wanted, where they wanted their remains laid to rest, and if they wanted a religious or non-religious funeral service. So that's what we're planning today. And then maybe small private funeral or maybe large. That depends on how many friends I have left by the end of my life, I suppose. Funeral costs. Again, not my problem. I'm dead. No, but seriously, yeah, you know, obviously not at 24 years of age, but at a certain point in your life, you should maybe start thinking about putting some money aside for a funeral. That's depressing talk. Moving on! So there's this read more about section. So I first went into funerals, and we get this. Scroll down again. Funerals during COVID. Really hoping that doesn't apply to me. Hoping I don't die during COVID, or that COVID doesn't go on long enough for me to die as an old person during COVID. Fun times. Anyway, so funeral directors, again, the code of practice. This just sort of goes through some of the bullet points of the code of practice. So just, general stuff you should know. Discussing the deceased's wishes and the family's wishes, providing a coffin, organizing and paying for grave purchases, stuff like that. That's all there. Embalming. This is the part that's important to me. Embalming is not strictly necessary, especially if the removal and funeral take place relatively quickly after death. Ha-ho, I don't need to be shoved full of chemicals for no reason whatsoever. Honest to God, do not understand embalming. I mean, I get what it is. I understand it. But, it's literally for, a 5-minute viewing, and then you're leaching chemicals into the earth. So that's fun. I don't want that. So that's great. I don't have to have that. I'm fairly sure in a lot of countries you don't need to be embalmed, but check that. And if someone, especially a funeral director, is telling you you do need to be embalmed, check that as well. Burials. So, yeah, it's just information about burials in general. Yeah, so the local authority usually appoints a registrar or caretaker for each cemetery to manage the sale of plots in the site, and in some cases to maintain the burial ground. Okay, so you're buying a plot basically from the caretaker of the cemetery you want to be buried in, unless you're going through a funeral director and they're buying it on your behalf. Kind of thing. You can also, which I thought was interesting, be buried at home. It seems like a complicated process and one you would have to start long before you actually die. But if you want to be buried at home, you might be able to. So that's cool. Cremation, again, not really my jam. Funeral costs, again, I'm dead, so that doesn't really matter. And then further information, bereavement, a practical guide. Again, I'm the one that's dead, so that's not my problem. So then I clicked on burials and burial grounds to just get a little information about burial grounds and rules and stuff surrounding burial grounds in Ireland. So that's just basic information. All burials must be registered with the local authority and the location of the grave noted. This is done by the people who manage the graveyard, so that ain't my problem. I'm dead. Purchasing a burial plot. Now this part is of interest to me. So yeah, your funeral director can handle the purchase of the burial plot as part of the package of the funeral services. You could do this. Obviously, that's more likely to happen if your death is unexpected. Because maybe you wouldn't have planned all of this out. If you have planned your funeral, maybe you've already bought a plot or you have a family plot. I know my family had 4 plots at a cemetery nearby, but 3 of those are currently occupied. That's not a fun way. It's not a good way of saying that. My grandparents are in one plot, my uncle's in another plot, my cousin's in another plot, and my aunt wants the empty plot. So we're not going in there, but that's a normal cemetery anyway, so not really interested in being put in there. But yeah, so that's that. So yeah, you might already have one purchased, your family might already have a few purchased, or you could purchase one from the cemetery itself or from a funeral director. This part is interesting, and I'm sure is similar in a lot of countries nowadays. A lot of cemeteries are full, so you can't, sort of pre-book a plot kind of thing. You can only purchase one at the time of death. Or if you're over 65, you can pre-book one. So my mom, this year, will be able to pre-book her cemetery plot. We were discussing this the other day. I'm not pulling this out of nowhere. So yeah, gravestones, where the deceased has no means. Looking for burial grounds. So graveyards are maintained either by caretakers or local authorities or by volunteer groups. Yep, so that's just all of that. And then also in Ireland, you can be buried at sea, which sounds fun. No, I don't want it, but it sounds fun. I really like to I don't know, go to a ceremony where that happens. That seems cool. But yeah, and then there's rules. Each local authority makes bylaws in relation to the regulation of burial grounds in the area. They cover various matters, including allocation, size, and purchase of burial plots, the recording of burials, the maintenance of a register of burials, and the requirements regarding headstones and monuments, as well as depth of burials and first interments. So there's rules about that, but no one mentions anything about not being able to have an eco burial, which is what matters to me. So then I just started Googling eco burial, cemeteries in Ireland, because you might, depending on the cemetery, you might be able to, if you wanted to, have an eco-esque burial in a normal cemetery. Let's say if your family, the rest of your family are buried in a cemetery, you want to be buried with them, but you want to be buried more eco-consciously, maybe you can have that. You'd have to discuss that with the cemetery caretakers and stuff. But as it stands, none of my immediate family are dead yet. So I'm open to anything. I'm not tied down. No, but seriously, yeah, my family we don't have a cemetery. We don't, none of that's planned up, so I'm not like tied to anywhere. So I was just looking up eco burials and I found this place. So this is the Green Graveyard. Stop giving me an advertisement for an open day that's out of date. The Green Graveyard Company, which is in Wexford, which is not my county, but it's not far away, and like I said before, not really tied to anywhere specific, and I don't, I wouldn't want to what's the word I'm looking for? Compromise on the type of burial I want for the location. Maybe someone else would, but I don't want to. Because to me the location doesn't matter as much. I'm not going to be needing people to visit me all the time and stuff, so Wexford's fine for me. Also, was telling my mom about this place, and now she's decided she wants to be buried there too, so we're going to an open day, except my mom's working that day, so my dad's taking me to an open day, and he's kind of concerned for our well-being, but we're ignoring that. Dad's oversensitive. Anyway, so this is the Woodbrook Natural Burial Ground in Wexford, and it sounds like exactly what I want. This is the first natural burial ground in Ireland. There have since been other ones, I think, but this is just the first one I found, and it looks nice, and I like it, and their website's laid out cool. Because the other one I looked at, their website was weird, so I stopped looking. So yeah, we offer a tranquil burial ground when you can come and sit surrounded by nature and remember your loved ones. We offer the opportunity to be buried the way you want. We cater for all religions and those without religion. That's me. You get the choice to use your final resting space as an aid to wildlife conservation. Those left behind can enjoy the newly created wildlife sanctuary where life goes on and memories linger. See, this is great because when I was originally thinking about an eco funeral, I was thinking about being able to decompose, having, maybe like a little plaque or something with my name and my year of birth and my year of death on it. Simple as that. And like bury a tree on top of me so that I can fertilize a tree. That's what I was thinking of. And that is this. But because it's registered as a cemetery, they can't build on the site. Like it can't be used for construction. And they plant not only trees, but wildflowers, and which, attracts animals. So essentially, by being buried here, you are conserving the area. You're fertilizing wildlife, wildflowers, forests. The wildflowers and forests are helping the natural wildlife in the area. So your death is not only, giving back to the plants by fertilizing them, but the plants are giving back to the animals. And all of this is protected because the area is a cemetery, so it can't be built on. So it's great. It's like what I wanted times 2. So it's perfect. I'm helping the plants, I'm helping the animals, and no one can build on top of me because this is my plot, god damn it. But yeah, like this just, it looks really nice. I just want to like go and see it because it looks cool. That's me there, guys. Doesn't it look nice? But yeah, so that's that. I found that and I was like, that is exactly what I want. That is even more than I expected to be able to get out of it. It's perfect for me. Now, they don't allow headstones, is the only thing. But I didn't really want a big headstone anyway, so to me, it's fine. They do have other options. So you can get a little grave marker like this, which is honestly like that is exactly what I wanted anyway. We plant native Irish trees at the burial ground, and we only permit 1 tree or bush at each grave. So great. Cool, you can get a bench if you want, and other things. Yeah. So there's benches, there's sculptures by local artists, stuff like that. But you don't get a big headstone, but you get a little grave marker if you want one. And like that's exactly what I wanted anyway, so that's fine. And then let's just look at the pricing for shits and giggles. I was looking it up a while ago, and the average price that I saw for burial plot in Ireland is about €1,000, 1,100. Here it's 950, so saving a little bit of money, but you're not saving that much. But honestly, you're not really doing it to save the money, are you? And then you can get double pots, triple pots, ash pots. You can scatter your ashes. So those are the options. There's other few things here, but yeah, I saw this place, I read all about it, and I decided that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. And I also recruited my mother, so my mom's getting buried here. So while I was looking at this, obviously it's a natural burial ground, so you can't be buried in anything that would contaminate the area. So you'd need a natural coffin or a casket. And I remember my mom had seen at a funeral a while back a wicker coffin, and she'd always said, that's what I want. I want to be buried in a wicker basket. And I was looking them up, and those are permitted at this graveyard because they're natural. They decompose, so they're completely safe to have. So I was looking up wicker coffins, and I found this Green Coffins Ireland website, which actually work alongside the Green Graveyard Company. So their coffins are permitted to be used in the graveyard, which is perfect. Okay, sorry, my laptop decided to semi-crash for a minute. But we're back. We're good. So, yes, found this company that do le eco coffins, which is what I want. And they're like the woven ones, the mom ones. So that's fun. Essentially, what I've done here is plan my mother's funeral for her. Which was not my intention, but she's down with it. She thinks it's cool. We've planned her funeral. It's all great. So yeah, they do, ooh, what's coffin accessories? I didn't see this last time. Let's check this out. Let's go on an adventure. But yeah, they do coffins. I'd want the like traditional coffin cam. Not these round ones. And like they do cardboard ones too. But no, I'd probably want one of these ones. I think I like the water hyacinth ones. Those are so cool. And the pandanus. I like the panda one. The water hyacinth and the panda. I want one of those. They do small ones. They do urns and ashes. While that other thing's loading, let's click into this. This is gonna crash my laptop. See, if you click into one of the things, this is what you get. Just, you know, general info about the substance they use and then what types of coffins they do out of them. So they do them in different sizes as well. So there's that. Let's see what coffin accessories are. It's probably just lining and things. Oh, yeah. All our coffins are fitted with a padded cotton bamboo fiber 5-piece liner. These soft padded liners work particularly well with our coffins and are a more eco-friendly version compared to the silk liners of old. We also have a number of other accessories available, but no funeral directors will have them readily available in stock. Again, the short time frame of an Irish funeral often comes into place here as the availability as to the availability on demand. Jesus. If you see anything you would like to add to the coffin, then please call your funeral director if there's time for it. Yeah, Irish funerals are relatively short. In the sense that like the time of death and the time to the funeral is relatively short. Ooh, they do Celtic crosses and bespoke nameplates. I don't know why you want a nameplate on your coffin. You're already in the ground and that is going to decompose. But still, you know, if you want it, it's there. But that's cool. So yeah, Irish funerals relatively short time frame, hence why a lot of things like these have said that stuff isn't available or might not be available. But yeah, so saw that, was like, okay, I want one of these. So then I decided, let's look at where they have them, because I don't have a funeral home in mind to have my funeral at. I ain't too picky. Also, might not even be living here in like my town when I die. So, you know, it doesn't really matter. But if I know I want this coffin, let's say, and I want that funeral, that graveyard, then it's best to maybe look at a funeral home out of the list of places that have the coffin I want, kind of thing. Again, short turnaround for funerals, so better off finding a place that already has your preferred coffin in stock. So they've got loads of different ones here. You can go to different websites and stuff. So I just picked one at random, which is this one here, because I was interested to see what they say about eco funerals and stuff on their websites. So I just picked this place at random and went into their eco funeral section, and this is just all they have to say. Like they stock the wicker coffins from that place that I want, and they specifically mention the burial ground, the Woodbook burial ground in Wexford. So, you know, like that's pretty much it. But you know, like if you picked a funeral home near you, check them and then see if they can, you know, do what you want. But because this place is connected to the coffin place, I figured they would do an eco funeral, seeing as they're connected to an eco coffin place, which is connected to the eco graveyard. So yeah, they do it. So that's pretty much my funeral. Obviously not an in-depth like look at exactly what I want, because I'm not planning on dying anytime soon, funnily enough. But I just thought it was kind of nice just to see if what I want is even possible in Ireland. And it is. I'm actually very excited about the graveyard. Kind of want to check that out now. And that's it. And like I said, accidentally planned my mum's funeral in the process. She's down with it. She's cool. She was happy about that. Because I was joking with her. I was like, as I was planning my own funeral, I realized I don't know what you want when you die. All I know is you want a wicker casket. That doesn't really help me much, does it? And she was like, oh no, your funeral plan sounds great. Let's go with that. I want your funeral. I was like, okay, cool. Plan my mum's funeral. But yeah, that's just kind of like a brief overview of what I want when I die, and also just a brief overview of like how to figure out what you might want, or if what you want is possible, and you know, just how to figure things out. Really hope no one's watching this video trying to figure out a funeral for a loved one. If you are, I'm sorry. My condolences on your loss. But yeah, that's my funeral. My funeral sounds fun. Y'all are invited. It's gonna be a hoot. That's the thing. I want my funeral to be fun. You know, people are allowed to mourn if they're sad. You know, I'm not gonna like stop people from mourning. Like, dude, I'm fabulous. Obviously, you would mourn my death. The universe has lost a great soul on this day. But, you know, prefer it to be a celebration of my life, not a sad fest that I'm dead kind of thing. But yeah, I don't really have any other thoughts about it to look into things. I'm not religious, so I wouldn't be looking at local churches and stuff to see what they say about funerals, because I wouldn't really do that. I'd probably just do something at the funeral home, like have a viewing and then have people say a few words and stuff, and then dump me in the ground. Let me feed the plants and the animals. That's it. That's my funeral. That's all I want. But I don't know. In Ireland, we also have like traditional Irish wakes. I've never been to one because, as far as I know, they're kind of more rural things nowadays. But essentially, it's that after the body is like cleaned and prepped and everything at a funeral home. You can do that at home in Ireland if you want to, but usually it's done at a funeral home. After that's done, the body is returned to the house, and as far as I understand it, usually stays there for a night before the funeral. And, it's just family and friends come around, sort of. They bring food. Someone stays with the body the whole time. It's just sort of like a pre-funeral, like, get-together to sort of, like, mourn collectively as a community and discuss the person's life and all of that. Like, they sound really interesting. I'd like to see a wake, but I live in a very urban area, so I've never seen one. Usually they're, I think, more rural areas or for older people. But yeah, that's traditional Irish wake. They seem cool. I don't think I'd want one. Again, maybe that's just because I like the idea of it. It seems really cool. I don't know why I don't want one, because it seems like a cool thing, but maybe it's just because I grew up in an urban environment without having one, so I'm like, ooh, that sounds like a fun thing that's other people's. It's not mine, even though it is mine. I don't know. maybe I'll change my mind about everything. Hopefully I'm not dying anytime soon, but I just thought this was a fun exercise to try out, to just see what the possibilities were, and it turns out what I want is possible, and I can get it even better than I thought I wanted it. So that's fun. But yeah, I've said fun a lot in this video. Bet you didn't think I'd do that. Hey. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope this was entertaining and educational, or at the very least entertaining or educational. Yeah. I hope you guys, learned something, had some fun. This wasn't supposed to be a very serious video, even though it's on a serious topic, but it was just supposed to be kind of fun exercise in planning out my funeral. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to comment down below a name for my fella here. He needs a name. At the moment, I'm just calling him John Doe, and that just seems really sad. Give him a name, folks. Comment down below what kind of funerals you want, especially if they're non-traditional. We do not stand tradition in this house. I'm kidding. But yeah, if you guys know what you want, or if you've thought about doing different things for funerals, even if it's completely insane, never heard of, probably not legal funeral, tell me about it. I want to hear it. Comment down below. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos like this. I'm trying to get more into archaeology, osteology, and death content on this channel. We are Coffin Cam. Thank you for watching. No, I'm kidding. I'm very proud of my coffin cam, okay? I'm proud I figured out how to do this. Please be proud with me. Anyway. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little odd, but I hope it was odd in a fun way. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Coffin Cam out.